So I went to my mentor, who's also one of my best friends, and I asked him, simply like, hey, what do I do? What can I do to get better? And he told me to do two things. He told me that I needed to surround myself with people that were better than me. And that's what he said. He said people that were better than me, because the reality is this: we're all created equal. I don't think it can be contested. We won't die now.
Right. That's a good way of looking at it. I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah. So he told me that, and then he also said I needed to invest in personal development. And he didn't say that, actually. He told me I needed to invest in Tony Robbins. Now, I did that, and then of course since then I've done so much more. He turned me on to Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins changed my life. And again, like, my mentor put me on him, so he changed my life. But Tony Robbins spoke to me in such a way, and if you guys aren't familiar with Tony Robbins, do yourself a favor. He has hundreds of hours of free content on YouTube that's fucking phenomenal, and it's free, and you have no excuse. But started hanging out with him, started hanging out with other people who were doing well, and just kind of like watching what they were doing.
Like leveling up is what you just said?
I mean, look, I started, instead of like worrying about like who the fucking, like, who do I go to the club with and who's cool and fun to like get fucked up with and get high with and like get in street fights with, like, I started surrounding myself with people that were succeeding in life, that were doing well in life, right? Because that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I started to just learn from them. I started to like look at the places they hung out, the way they conducted themselves, the way they spoke, the people they surrounded themselves with, the books they read, and that a lot happened with that. I mean, I did success leaves clues.
Yeah.
There was a lot of similarities between these people and the things that they were doing, and I started doing those things. One thing that's very important to me now to this day, giving back. I do. Giving back is super important to me, and it's probably my number one priority. I think a lot of times people, I'm giving back, I'm helping people, meanwhile they're fucking charging them out the ass for whatever. Like, you're not giving back and you're not helping somebody if you're monetizing, okay? Let's just get that like straight. When I say giving back, I mean, we do, me personally, and like, it's not uncommon for me to get a couple people, or me personally, just drive around in my local community and walk up and approach people who are living in the street and hand them meals. I'm fortunate, I have a company where I have the means of doing that, but even if I didn't, I would do it in other ways, because it is important to me, and it makes me fucking feel good, right? I'd be like, oh, that's so nice of you to do, like, that's great, and whatever, and like, okay, yes, thank you, like, and I agree, but I'm selfish. Like, it fucking feels good to do that. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it just to help out other people. I mean, and I'm also not ignorant to the fact that the universe rewards that type of energy, So again, that was something that these people were doing in some way. And again, there's no person that is experiencing success at the highest level that isn't giving back in some way. So philanthropy is extremely important to me, to this day. And no matter what I have going on, no matter what negative energy I have in my life, doing that quickly puts that negative energy out, and makes me feel good. But long story short, like, I started to turn my shit around. I started to, surround myself with the right people. I started to read books. I mean, look, I wasn't working, right? Like, I quit the strip club, of course, when I started selling shit. Yeah. I had a tremendous amount of free time on my hands, so I was reading a lot of books. I wasn't working, so I had the time to do that. And a lot of these books, they say the same shit. Like, again, surround yourself with the right people. Yeah. Cut negativity, cut shitbags and losers out of that. That's so important. Like, your life will improve immediately, not eventually, by simply cutting out the fucking losers that you have in. Like, so many people have like these fucking negative, toxic, low lives, for lack of a better term, in their lives, and they get used to that standard. They get used to these people bringing their shitty negative energy in their life, and they suffer as a direct result. But that's their fault. Right. They've allowed that person to come in. They've allowed that person to contaminate their life. So, long story short, like, I turned my life around. I started doing the right things. I started doing right by people. I slowly got away from selling steroids. Like, and it didn't happen overnight, because it couldn't. It doesn't work like that. Right. But I, had an opportunity that fell in my lap with the business, and it was a completely different business, and ended up getting fucked over, as every entrepreneur at some point does, so typically more than once. And it was a great experience for me. I lost every dollar that I had, and look, hey, that's the karma, right? Like, I made a lot of dirty fucking money, and I lost all of it in this one fucking thing. And like, you know, at the time it was really shitty, and like I definitely didn't have a smile on my face the way that I do now. But that experience like taught me what I was capable of. Like, it was like, okay, well, maybe I can do these things that my buddy had told me that I was capable of. And I started to make some changes, man. And the company that I have now, an opportunity came on my lap, and it didn't come on my lap. It was there, and I fucking grabbed it, and I ran with it. And I evolved. I started doing the right things all the time. I started making it my obsession to selflessly go out of my way to help other people and to literally do the very best job with every single task that I touched. And I continued to give back in my community any way that I could, because I felt I had a lot of wrong to make up for. I mean, this is something I say often, and this might be something I need to stop saying, but you know, to this point in my life, I feel I've done more wrong than I have right. So
we talked about this yesterday, about how you kind of beat yourself up for stuff you've done in the past, still, even though you've really turned things around and it is in the past. That stuff sometimes kind of creeps up on you, and you think sometimes I don't deserve the success I'm having right now because of the fact I was such a shitbag before. You know, which is just not true. It's a train of thought, like we were talking last night. It's basically resistance of a train of thought.
Look at that right there. Where is that? Inner dialogue one. Watch that inner dialogue.
Watch the inner dialogue.
Yeah, that's so important, you know, because the things that you say to yourself in your head, like it manifests to be true.
Right.
And the reality of it is, the sad reality is, the majority of stuff that we say to ourselves in our head are not positive things. Like, why the fuck is that?
Oh, well, I do think, honestly, you know, like, it's funny because we're going to go a whole different direction right now.
Yeah.
You know, people that have come from similar backgrounds, it's kind of programmed into you. You're like a product of your environment. And it becomes a part of you. It doesn't mean it's who you are, but it becomes a part of who you are and what shapes you. And it always kind of sits there in the back, like it never goes away. I don't know if it ever does go away, but it also gives you that drive to try to be better. Like, I know that
a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, like, you know, you can make it down on yourself, but all of a sudden you're like, I'm working 20 extra hours this week to get ahead to where I needed to be, because I need to get these things out to people that, you know, you're using that negative, for me, the negative drive to move forward. You know, I do very, very well with negative feedback rather than positive feedback. If you give me positive feedback, I'm more than likely going to slack. If you tell me that I suck, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to move forward very quickly. You know, we're doing Snapchats.
Yeah, we're going to do Snapchats now. But just to kind of get back on track, like I did turn my life around, you know, and things started going well for me. They started going very well again. I dedicated my life to selflessly helping other people and being superb at every task that I touch. And hey, look, that thought process, that patterns of thinking, it fucking works. But again, you know, I have a past. I did a lot of illegal shit for a long fucking time, and things were going very well for me. And one day I came home after you know, having a productive work day, and the funny thing is, I mentioned the Lamborghini like earlier about my buddy having the yellow Lamborghini, and at the time, like for me, that was like, wow, it's fucking yellow Lambo, you know. And then when I went and bought one, you know, a few years back, that was very significant for me, because at the time, like I said, I was the fucking doorman at the strip club, like, you know, with the community college book. But I came home, I had some very productive meetings. I was in my Lamborghini. I forgot my garage door opener, or my gate opener. And I parked the Lamborghini in front of my building. I left it running. I walked in to my apartment building, and I was going to go upstairs, get the gate open. And I was like, let me check my mirror really quick. Walked in, there's a couple guys in the lobby. I was like, hey, what's up, guys? And I go and I open the mailbox, and you know, I heard, hey, Chris. I look, and I was like, yep. And these guys are like on, you know, both sides of me, and they both like stand up and start like walking towards me. And I'm just like, again, the way that I came up, yeah,
it's automatically good defensive.
Exactly. The way I came up, and I go to them like, all right, well, I've fought 2 motherfuckers before. This will be fun. Like, again, like, and then they saw me kind of tense up and take my stance. Like, oh no, whoa. They pulled out their bat. Like, oh. Okay, like, yeah. So,
would you be happy about it?
Yeah, definitely. But the Tampa Police Department had come to my home to serve a warrant from Jacksonville, and a warrant for my arrest. And it's really interesting because the thing that I was being arrested for did in fact happen 3 years prior. I'd gotten set up a confidential informant who wasn't my friend at the time, had set me up on a couple steroid transactions, as it were, and for reasons that we won't get into here because it's a whole other fucking longer ass video. They waited 3 fucking years to come in, and it's crazy.
So now, here's the interesting part that I found. So first of all, I don't even know where I got the whole thing. I thought Chris was arrested for a DWI. I don't know where I got this. Yeah. I think I made it up. So when he told me to get arrested for steroids, I was like, oh, that's something that's happened to a lot of my friends and stuff. But he had actually turned his life around, cleaned up his act, not selling steroids, doing the right thing, became successful, and karma still came to bite him in the ass.
As it does. That's what it does.
You can't run from karma. Like I've said this before, but imagine you're just doing everything right, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that in for
3 years. 3 years. I mean, it had been 3. I mean, and the funny thing is, when I sold it to that kid, that guy, I had been out of the game, but he was actually a friend of mine, so I did us a favor for. Either way, that's not an excuse. Right. I fucking should have been arrested for any of the other hundreds of transactions prior, as it were. But I had in fact moved on. I had in fact moved forward with my life, but of course, I still had the connections. I was in the game for a long time. So when he asked me for the favor as a friend, I fucking did it for him, and look, that was karma catching up with me. And 2 third-degree felonies, which, if you guys watching this, Jerry, you may not know, that is not a huge, very serious thing. It's just not. The felony is serious. Breaking the law is serious. A 3rd-degree felony, in the grand scheme of things, is not anything fucking crazy, okay? 2 transactions represented about 5 bottles and 30 tabs, and my bill was $500,000. $500,000, okay? And to give you guys some perspective how the legal system works, if you don't know, when I was in court waiting to be arraigned, I remember I remember several. There's 2 that stand out. There's a guy in there who beat up his mom and broke, blackened his mom's eye and broke her fucking arm. His bail, and he had a bunch of priors, his bail was $30,000. And then there was another fucking lowlife in there who was there for sex with a minor, disgusting shit, whatever. His shit was $40,000. My shit, $500,000.
They definitely got a stigma as far as steroids and stuff.
Yeah, well, it was a little more than that. They were upset that I didn't want to cooperate and do what apparently everybody does in the situation. And they came to me and they wanted me to give them information, and they wanted to, make my arrest go away by me doing what was done to me. And I just told them look, I'm ready to be held accountable for my actions. I did this, okay? I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I was to destroy someone else's life because I wasn't willing to be held accountable for my actions. So they didn't like that. Apparently they don't like it when you don't, cooperate. And, they put me through it. And I went through about a 4-month process, and it was fucking devastating. From the time that I had my first appearance to the time that I went in for sentencing, the hard offer on the table was 24 months in prison. I had no priors. I was arrested, all the arrests when I was a kid, and I had a couple arrests as an adult too, a couple fighting things, but no serious shit, no felonies, nothing like this. They offered me 24 months, and I have a business at this point. Right. I have staff that have families that rely on this income. I have hundreds of clients that rely on this service. I have ties to the community, different organizations.